feeling spiritually lost in today's chaotic world has become an almost universal experience, as millions find themselves caught between the relentless pace of modern life and a deep yearning for something more meaningful and transcendent than the endless cycle of work, consume, and repeat that dominates contemporary existence. Sri Aurobindo's timeless teachings offer a beacon for anyone weary of this spiritual emptiness, providing not an escape from life's challenges, but rather a revolutionary understanding of how one can find authentic purpose by engaging with life itself, as a field for profound spiritual discovery and transformation. In a society saturated with noise, distraction, and confusion, where traditional religious frameworks often feel inadequate to address modern complexities, Sri Aurobindo provides a roadmap towards reclaiming inner clarity and awakening the latent divinity that resides within each human being, waiting to be recognized and expressed through the very circumstances that seem to obstruct our peace. At the heart of his vision lies the profound realization that life, with all its complexities and apparent contradictions, is not a random collection of meaningless events, but rather a manifestation of a greater consciousness that is striving to evolve and manifest its divine potential through the medium of human experience. This understanding invites us to shift our perspective fundamentally, recognizing that every moment and every experience, whether joyous or arduous, holds within it the opportunity for spiritual growth and deeper self-knowledge that can transform even the most mundane activities into gateways of awakening. The revolutionary nature of this approach lies in its refusal to divide existence into spiritual and material categories, instead revealing how consciousness itself is the thread that weaves together all aspects of life into a coherent pattern of evolutionary unfoldment. Imagine transforming your everyday routine, the bustle of morning commutes, the pressure of deadlines, the challenges at home or at work, not as distractions from spiritual progress, but as the very soil in which the seed of your soul's evolution can be nurtured and brought to flowering. Sri Aurobindo's integral approach dissolves the ages-old divide between the sacred and the mundane, teaching us that spirituality is not something separate from or beyond life, but rather life itself lived consciously, with awareness of the deeper currents of meaning and purpose that flow beneath the surface of ordinary experience. This perspective transforms stress from a purely negative force into an opportunity for developing inner strength, frustration into a teacher of patience, and fear into a doorway to courage, revealing the hidden spiritual currency that exists within the fabric of daily life. In practical terms, this means cultivating a continual awareness that transcends the ordinary turbulence of the mind and emotions, enabling us to anchor ourselves in an inner stillness that remains unshaken even amidst external upheaval and uncertainty. It is a dynamic state of being that doesn't require withdrawal from active engagement with the world, but rather brings a quality of presence and conscious intention to whatever activities and relationships comprise our current circumstances. The evolution that Sri Aurobindo describes is not merely philosophical speculation, but a living reality accessible to anyone willing to embark upon the patient work of inner inquiry and the gradual alignment of their entire being with a higher truth that transcends personal ambition and social conditioning. This path requires no sudden withdrawal from responsibilities or grandiose gestures of renunciation, but instead offers an invitation to embrace the present moment with sincerity and openness, recognizing that the true work of spiritual awakening happens through persistent inner discipline and the willingness to meet life's challenges as opportunities for conscious growth rather than obstacles to our happiness. By deepening this inner discipline, individuals discover that their actions can become expressions of an increasingly illuminated consciousness, whereby ordinary tasks take on extraordinary significance, and even the most routine interactions become opportunities to express wisdom, compassion, and creative intelligence. The way we speak to others, the quality of attention we bring to our work, and even how we care for our physical environment begins to reflect the unfolding spiritual awareness within, creating ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate circumstances. The journey towards this integrated spirituality is not without its challenges, demanding courage to face the shadows within ourselves that we might prefer to ignore, perseverance to continue growing through periods of apparent stagnation or setback, and humility to surrender preconceived notions of spiritual progress that might limit our openness to unexpected forms of learning and transformation. Yet these trials are revealed to be the very crucibles in which the soul is tempered and refined, enabling the emergence of a life rich with authentic meaning, emotional resilience, and the kind of inner peace that doesn't depend upon external circumstances conforming to our preferences, but flows from alignment with deeper currents of purpose and truth. Through Sri Aurobindo's teachings, the spiritual seeker learns that genuine spiritual life is expansive rather than restrictive, drawing in all aspects of human existence: intellectual understanding, emotional maturity, physical vitality, and social responsibility, and transforming each into a conduit for greater consciousness and harmony, rather than treating them as obstacles to transcendence. In this light, the chaos and uncertainty that characterize our times are no longer enemies to be defeated, but allies that can catalyze our growth, pushing us beyond comfortable limitations towards the integral realization of our highest potential. The erosion of old certainties and the breakdown of outdated structures create space for a new kind of clarity and connection, one that embraces paradox and mystery as intrinsic to the spiritual experience rather than problems to be solved through better thinking or more effective strategies. As we continue to navigate the unprecedented demands and opportunities of the modern world, Sri Aurobindo's teachings gain fresh resonance and urgency, offering practical guidance for integrating spirituality seamlessly into contemporary life, without requiring drastic lifestyle changes or the acquisition of esoteric knowledge that might seem irrelevant to our daily concerns. The genius of his approach lies in its recognition that spiritual transformation can happen through conscious engagement with whatever circumstances we currently inhabit, rather than waiting for ideal conditions or perfect understanding before beginning the work of inner development. Central to this integration is the cultivation of what might be called enlightened mindfulness, quality of awareness that doesn't reject rational thinking or emotional experience, but contextualizes them within a larger spiritual framework that honors both individual uniqueness and universal connection. Such mindfulness transforms even the most routine moments into potential gateways of revelation and growth, where simple activities like preparing meals or commuting to work become opportunities to practice presence and conscious intention. The challenges encountered in human relationships, whether with family members, colleagues, or strangers, emerge as mirrors reflecting deeper patterns within ourselves that can be understood and gradually transformed through patient self-observation and the cultivation of genuine compassion. Professional responsibilities, rather than being seen as necessary distractions from spiritual pursuits, become sacred when approached with consciousness of serving purposes larger than personal advancement or financial security, revealing how even the most seemingly mundane work can contribute to the collective evolution of human consciousness and social harmony. Through this approach, practitioners gradually develop what could be called a luminous presence, an inner radiance that naturally fosters creativity, compassion, and clarity in all their interactions and endeavors. This presence is not an escape from the realities of embodied existence, but rather a profound engagement with them, maintaining a delicate balance between accepting what cannot be changed and working creatively to transform what can be influenced through conscious effort and spiritual intention. The individual begins to discover that their personal healing and growth is intimately connected with the healing of their communities and the larger world, as the ripple effects of individual awakening influence family dynamics, workplace culture, and broader social systems in ways that demonstrate the practical potency of spiritual development. Sri Aurobindo emphasizes that this path is not about achieving perfection or producing immediate dramatic results, but rather about maintaining steadfast dedication to the process of becoming more conscious, more compassionate, and more creative in our responses to life's endless variety of experiences. It requires learning to dance gracefully between effort and surrender, between taking appropriate action and allowing deeper intelligence to guide our choices, between using discernment to navigate complex situations and maintaining trust in the ultimate benevolence of existence even when circumstances appear chaotic or threatening. Such a perspective naturally invites a fundamental reinterpretation of failure and difficulty, transforming these experiences from signs of personal inadequacy or cosmic indifference into necessary phases in the unfolding of consciousness that can deepen our wisdom and strengthen our capacity for service. This mindset fosters the kind of resilience that becomes essential for sustaining spiritual growth in a world characterized by rapid technological change, social uncertainty, and environmental challenges that can overwhelm those who lack inner resources for maintaining equilibrium and purpose amidst constant flux. It encourages us to see ourselves not as isolated individuals struggling against an indifferent universe, but as conscious participants in an evolutionary process that is seeking to express greater wisdom, beauty, and harmony through our unique circumstances and contributions. Rather than viewing ourselves as victims of forces beyond our control, we begin to recognize our role as co-creators with the divine intelligence that orchestrates the cosmos, actively participating in the manifestation of a more conscious and compassionate civilization. Importantly, Sri Aurobindo's integral philosophy refuses to treat the body and material world as obstacles to spiritual development, instead honoring them as essential dimensions of the spiritual path that must be integrated rather than transcended or ignored. This means adopting disciplined yet compassionate attitudes towards physical health, emotional well-being, and social responsibility, recognizing that these areas of life provide fertile ground for spiritual unfolding rather than distractions from higher pursuits. The practice involves learning to care for our bodies as temples of consciousness, to engage with our emotions as sources of energy and information rather than problems to be solved, and to fulfill our social obligations as opportunities for selfless service rather than burdens that prevent us from focusing on personal salvation. In our current age, marked by unprecedented technological capabilities and increasing global interconnectedness, such an integral vision offers an essential framework for harnessing innovation and connectivity in service of spiritual and social evolution, rather than allowing these powerful tools to fragment our attention or substitute virtual experiences for authentic human connection. It encourages discerning engagement with digital media and consumer culture, Learning to use these aspects of modern life consciously without being overwhelmed or consumed by their addictive potential or superficial satisfactions. The path that Sri Aurobindo illuminates is neither simple nor always comfortable. Yet it offers the kind of profound fulfillment and unshakable sense of purpose that can sustain us through any external circumstances or internal difficulties we might encounter. Engaging seriously with Sri Aurobindo's teachings invites a completely new way of perceiving ordinary existence as a sacred unfolding where every experience, relationship, and challenge is imbued with the possibility of awakening to deeper dimensions of truth, beauty, and conscious participation in the mystery of existence itself. At this juncture in our exploration, I warmly invite you to become part of this unfolding community of seekers who are discovering that spiritual transformation can happen right where we are, through whatever circumstances life presents to us. If these ideas are resonating with something authentic in your own experience, please subscribe to our channel and share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Because your unique journey enriches this shared endeavor and helps illuminate the path for others who may be struggling with similar questions about finding meaning and purpose in our chaotic but ultimately sacred world. As we reach the culmination of our exploration into the profound relevance of Sri Aurobindo's vision for contemporary spiritual seekers, it becomes increasingly apparent that his teachings offer far more than personal solace or temporary relief from the confusion that characterizes modern existence. They present a comprehensive and transformative approach to living consciously amidst uncertainty that can fundamentally alter our relationship with chaos, challenge, and change in ways that reveal these apparent obstacles as gateways to unprecedented opportunities for growth and service. His philosophy masterfully bridges the wisdom of ancient spiritual traditions with the emerging capacities needed to navigate contemporary challenges, recognizing both the timeless truths that have guided human development throughout history and the new forms of consciousness that are struggling to emerge in response to the unique conditions of our technological age. The integration of spiritual ideals with practical engagement in daily life is revealed not as a distant goal to be achieved after years of preparation, but as an immediate necessity and opportunity that invites us to embody wisdom, compassion, and discernment in all aspects of our being. From the most intimate personal relationships to our participation in larger social and environmental challenges that affect the well-being of future generations. Through such conscious embodiment, we discover that we are contributing to the evolution of a civilization that can honor both individual creativity and collective harmony. Both the complexity that characterizes modern life and the underlying simplicity of spiritual truth, both respect for traditional wisdom and openness to innovative solutions that serve the emerging needs of humanity and the planet. This path honors the sacred potential that exists within each human being, the inherent capacity to transcend limiting beliefs about what is possible, to awaken faculties of perception and understanding that remain dormant in ordinary consciousness, and to engage with life's inevitable difficulties and uncertainties with increasing courage, grace, and creative intelligence, rather than merely surviving or coping with circumstances beyond our control. It invites us to see beyond the veils of separation that create the illusion of isolation and competition, discovering, instead, the unifying presence that connects all beings and all phenomena in an intricate web of mutual interdependence and shared evolutionary destiny that makes individual awakening and collective transformation aspects of the same fundamental process. By embracing this expansive vision, we gradually learn to transform chaos into harmony through the quality of consciousness we bring to whatever situations arise, fragmentation into coherence through recognizing the deeper patterns that connect apparently disconnected events and experiences, and confusion into clarity through cultivating the kind of inner stillness that allows wisdom to emerge naturally, rather than trying to figure everything out through mental analysis alone. In doing so, the seemingly mundane activities and relationships that comprise daily existence are revealed as the very ground of spiritual awakening, whilst the challenges and uncertainties of contemporary life become the crucible for the birth of a new form of enlightened humanity that can navigate complexity without losing touch with essential simplicity and navigate change without losing connection to eternal values. Sri Aurobindo's path represents, ultimately, a call to conscious living that honors the fullness of human potential and the unfolding destiny of consciousness itself, refusing to settle for partial solutions or temporary escapes from the magnificent challenge of learning to live as divine beings in human form, expressing infinite creativity through finite circumstances, and discovering eternal peace through conscious engagement with temporal experiences. This vision recognizes that spiritual maturity is measured not by our ability to transcend or escape the conditions of embodied existence, but by our capacity to transform these very conditions into expressions of greater beauty, truth, and love that serve not only our own evolution, but the evolution of all life on earth. The practical implications of this understanding extend into every area of human activity, from the ways we educate children and organize communities to how we develop technology and relate to the natural environment, suggesting that there are no purely secular or purely spiritual domains, but only different expressions of the one consciousness that is seeking to know and express itself more completely through the infinite diversity of forms and experiences that comprise the manifest universe. As we learn to live from this recognition, our individual lives become contributions to the collective awakening of humanity to its true nature and ultimate purpose, whilst the broader transformation of civilization provides the context and support for individual spiritual development to flourish and reach unprecedented depths of realization and service. The journey towards this integral realization is neither a solitary pursuit nor a mass movement, but rather a conscious participation in the evolutionary process itself, where each person's sincere effort to grow in wisdom and compassion contributes to the emergence of new possibilities for all beings, whilst the collective awakening provides inspiration and support for individual breakthroughs that might seem impossible when attempted in isolation. This understanding dissolves the artificial boundaries between personal development and social transformation, revealing them as complementary aspects of the same fundamental movement towards greater consciousness, creativity, and love that characterizes evolution at every level, from the cellular to the cosmic. As we conclude this exploration into the profound relevance of Sri Aurobindo's teachings for anyone who feels spiritually lost in our chaotic world, my heart is filled with deep appreciation for every soul who recognizes that the path forward leads not away from the complexities of modern existence, but deeper into conscious engagement with them as opportunities for unprecedented spiritual growth and service. If you have found these reflections meaningful and feel called to continue this journey of conscious living, please subscribe to our channel and share your own stories of transformation, challenge, and discovery in the comments below. Your contributions help build a vibrant community committed to awakening and mutual support, where individual insights become collective wisdom and personal struggles become shared opportunities for learning and growth. Together, we journey towards the light of a new dawn in human consciousness, confident that each step taken in awareness moves us closer to the realization of a more conscious, compassionate, and creatively fulfilling world for all beings.